Our product is Nova Skin Zero Alcohol, and we chose the trend clean lifers to work with, which are people between 20 and 29 years old who have strong spending choices and strong belief in ideals. The clean lifers are related to Skin Zero Alcohol because they have a control of their image and body shape. They're more minimalist in spending choices. There's been a strong growth in alcohol-free festival and morning rays, and there is a poor range of products which attend the clean lifers' way of living. In terms of value, beer is the most consumed alcohol beverage in 2015. However, production and global consumption dropped from 2014 to 2016. Two factors are influencing this market. The first is the government with policies that curb alcohol consumption with legal age, legal blood alcohol level while driving, and health warning on labels. And the second one are the consumers, with a concern about negative effect of alcohol consumption, social climate that disapproves drinking, and greater health consciousness related to weight gain and alcohol. Regarding reasons for forced drinking, it has been shown that peer pressure is one of the factors that can explain alcohol consumption. However, the attitude of the consumers is yet changing, and they are becoming more aware of health issues that implies alcohol beverage drinking. This trend has been an opportunity to develop zero alcohol brands. Nowadays, more brands have been starting to develop zero-alcohol beer to adapt to consumer changes, but also for economic reasons because there are no more excise taxes. The target market for zero-alcohol beer is the people that can't consume alcohol, for example, pregnant women, those under medication, drivers, athletes, religious people, and previous alcoholics. In 2011, the Japanese Kirin Holdings company acquired the shareholding control of Skin Cario, and since 2012, the brand has been focusing on a strategy focused on the consumer, innovation, and the construction of strong brands. Brasil Kirin is driven by the Japanese innovative culture and the passion of the Brazilians for the production of drinks that bring pleasure and joy to life. Skin Zero main competitors are Brahma Zero, Itaipava Zero, and Bavaria Zero, which together have 91.8% of the market share.
The non-alcoholic beer segment had a 5% growth in the last years. In 2012, $120 million were raised in the market.
In order to understand the market in Brazil, we tried to see what was searched on Google. The first observation was that the search for this product category has increased in the past years. The second observation is that cerveja sem álcool is related to pregnancy calories and mostly to the Brahma brand. With Estilingue, we could analyze the distribution feelings towards the brand is mainly neutral, and the people that most talk about it are women. In the themes distribution, we can see that occasion is the most frequent one, and people are talking neutrally or positively about it. Another interesting aspect is related to the terms, which we can notice random subjects linked to the Skin Zero alcohol product, and that the alcohol term is quite far from the network. With all this information, we established that our general problem is, although the market has a potential growth, the alcohol-free beer has a very strict market. Brazilians are reluctant to buy this product, and more competitors are getting into this industry. Our research problem is, how can Nova Skin create a positive image within a society that suffers from social pressure, mainly young adults from 18 to 30 years old? And our main hypothesis is, given the social pressure, does the name of the product reflect on the customer's willingness to buy the zero-alcohol beer?
The initial project objectives is to analyze and understand why Brazilians don't usually buy non-alcoholic beer in order to come up with a marketing strategy. We also wanted to understand if the social pressure influences the willingness of customers to buy non-alcoholic beer. And we also wanted to know how Nova Skin Zero Alcohol can create a positive image, increasing their market share. In our qualitative research process, our primary data were in-depth interviews, and our secondary data were documents publicly available in the market and Facebook interactions. Our in-depth interviews were conducted with 15 people. Our methodology was to keep the interviewees comfortable, and it was semi-structured in order to standardize the outcomes. And our main objective was to test the hypothesis from the R1.
The interviews were conducted face-to-face, and the questions weren't straightforwardly asked, and all information was compared in order to find patterns and common behaviors. The statements that most caught our attention was, I would drink non-alcoholic beverages in situations in which people around me were drinking, but for some reason I could not drink alcohol. However, non-alcoholic beer would be my last choice, and I could be a different person if I didn't respond to social pressure. And on social media, we found mixed opinions about the product. So our main insights were that people drink non-alcoholic beer when people around them are drinking, but they cannot drink alcohol. However, due to the bad image that it conveys to society, they affirm that it would be their last choice. With the insights seen in the qualitative research, we have developed a quantitative research. For the quantitative research process, we decided to do an experiment. Indeed, we chose to analyze the social pressure depending on two different products. One was zero alcohol beer, and the other one was a new category that we created called Bebida Artesanal de Cevada. At the end, we would have 4 different questionnaires to analyze. The main objective was to test the hypothesis from the R1. In order to collect our data, we had to create 4 different questionnaires divided into high social pressure and low social pressure, and for each of them we provided the images of Nova Skin Zero Álcool and Bebida Artesanal de Cevada, which are the 2 advertisements that we created. In 2 of them, we manipulated the respondents to pursue the social pressure. The first objective is to understand if people who suffer from social pressure are more likely to not buy a zero alcohol beer called Nova Skin Zero Álcool. And the hypothesis is, due to social pressure, the purchase intentions of Nova Skin Zero Álcool is significantly low. The second objective is to understand if people who suffer from social pressure are more likely to buy a zero alcohol beer called Bebida Artesanal de Cevada. The hypothesis is, due to social pressure, the name Cerveja Zero Álcool is not an appealing name. Therefore, with a different category, the purchase intention of this new category would be higher. The third objective is to understand if people at a neutral state without social pressure are more likely to buy a zero alcohol beer called Nova Skin Zero Álcool. And its hypothesis is, without social pressure, people would be more likely to buy a zero alcohol beer called Cerveja Zero Álcool, and the name would not affect the purchase intention. And the fourth objective is to understand if people at a neutral state without social pressure are more likely to buy a zero alcohol beer called Bebida Artesanal de Cevada. And the hypothesis is, without social pressure, the name of the product would not affect the purchase intention. The questionnaire was diffused on meseems, and we used the IBM SPSS statistics to run our analysis. After searching at the Marketing Scale Handbook, we chose the Likert scale, which is a scale used to measure attitudes and opinions. As we wanted to measure the effects of social pressure and the purchase intention, it fit perfectly. For it, we used a scale of 1 to 7, 1 being discordo totalmente and 7 being concordo totalmente. In order to get a deep understanding of purchase intention, we used the multi-item scale, which measures the respondents' attitudes towards more than one attribute related to a stimulus object, which were the advertisements that we created. The model that we used applies 2 moderators, showing the advertisements to our respondents with the aim of seeing at what level it influences the purchase intentions of the possible customers. Interpretation of the data is that we noticed that our social pressure manipulations did not quite work, since the respondents did not answer as they should. Therefore, we created a new variable called alta pressão, which we classified as low pressure, the means below 4, and high pressure above 4, according to the answers given by the respondents. We noticed that there is a significant relationship between pressure, attitudes towards the brand, and innovation related to the intentions to purchase. Another observation is that the advertisement seen was not so relevant in this relationship, so changing the product name did not prove to be very effective for the company. In relation to the graph, we realized that the higher the pressure, the more people are likely to buy the product, perhaps because they feel pressured to be a part of society and not be left out.
With the multivariate analysis, we noticed something interesting in relation to the question, consideraria comprar esse produto? The Bebida Artesanal was in front of zero alcohol in both cases of low and high pressure, but in relation to I would like to try, there was a change in which with low pressure people tend to prefer the Bebida Artesanal, and with high pressure they tend to prefer zero alcohol. The greatest correlation is precisely between the social pressure and purchase intention. The correlation of age with social pressure scale and advertisement and intention to purchase is negative. So the relation between these variables is inverse. The ANOVA table shows that the regression is significant, p-value less than 5%. In relation to the coefficients and p-values of the variables in relation to the intention to buy, we notice that the pressure mean is the one that has the greatest interference, followed by the propensity for innovation. The advertising seen and the age did not significantly interfere with the intention to buy. The p-value was greater than 5%, and in addition, the advertising coefficient was negative. In conclusion, after analyzing all the statistics, we concluded that social pressure and intention to purchase are indeed correlated, and the first influences the second. However, it has the opposite reaction. A person with social pressure is more likely to buy the product than the one with low social pressure. The product's name does not influence significantly the purchase intention. Both of them, Bebida Artesanal de Cevada and Nova Skin Zero Álcool, have similar responses, and therefore, Skin might not change the product's name, but have a different approach towards customers. The propensity of innovation and the attitude towards the brand are also important and relevant to the purchase intention. Those that are more open to try new products are more likely to buy zero alcohol beer. In addition, those that have a negative attitude towards skin will most likely not buy the product due to its brand and not to the product itself. The group suggests that Skin must focus on marketing advertisements, on social pressure, and relate their product with something that will provide a sense of belonging to its customers. By doing so, people will more likely be able to buy non-alcoholic beer due to the willingness of being a part of the society.